Welcome back to Cosmeholics Anonymous. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is, we can call it a B with the T. Alright, so technically I already filmed this video, but I had to bring it back to the drawing board because I forgot to talk about something, and then somebody reminded me that they wanted to hear my opinion on it. So I decided that I would refilm this entire video because, to be honest, my wig was not cooperating the day that I filmed the video. So I didn't want to have to do too much editing to my hairline, so I decided that I would just refilm. So the main topic I wanted to discuss today was the Naomi Campbell scandal. And so really quickly, just to catch you up, Naomi Campbell had a charity called Fashion for Relief. And in more recent years, some fraudulent activity has happened within the charity in terms of funds being misused. So obviously some people don't realize what a nonprofit organization is, or a not-for-profit organization. So I decided I would give a little definition, okay? A nonprofit organization is an entity that is created and operated for charitable or socially beneficial purposes rather than to make a profit. A nonprofit might serve religious, scientific, charitable, educational, literary, health, or animal welfare purposes. That is the definition of a nonprofit organization. So if you decide that you want to start a nonprofit organization, that means you cannot dip into the funds for extracurricular activities or anything of that nature. Nothing for self, okay? Every dollar that the charity earns must go to the cause or causes. That being said, I decided I would go to Miss Naomi Campbell's website for Fashion for Relief and see what their mission statement was. When I first went on the website, there was a picture of Naomi Campbell walking a runway, and then there was a message over her, but I find that the message is a little hard to read because of her picture in the background. I decided to go onto the website on my actual computer because I realized that the layout on the phone is completely different. So this is what the website looks like. There's their mission statement. I'm going to talk more about that stuff as we, go into the video, so you don't need to pause it or anything right now. But on my phone, I never saw the COVID-19 page, which is I'm about to go to now. And so this is still not an updated website because it's talking about the UK being under lockdown, which obviously lockdown is not happening right now. And as I keep scrolling, you do see one of the charities that complained about not receiving the allocated funds. So that would be the Mayor's Fund for London. There it is right there. Yeah. I'm going to read to you the message from Naomi. Thank you so much for taking the time to visit our website and find out more about Fashion for Relief. A grandfather and honorable mentor to me, Nelson Mandela, was my inspiration to launch Fashion for Relief. He always said to use my voice to speak out about things I care about, to speak up, and to do something. Fashion for Relief is dedicated to improving the lives of those living in adversity by uniting the fashion industry as a force for good. And mind you, it's not necessarily a really good year for Miss Naomi, because if you remember, there's the, I forgot her name, but she was a funny influencer, and she kind of blew up and turned into this model. And she, released a story time earlier this year or late last year, I can't remember, about her relationship with Naomi and how they are no longer friends. And so we've seen Naomi fall out with quite a few people. Naomi's name has not necessarily been, associated with being a girl's girl over the years. She's always been kind of known for being a diva. We'll just use diva, okay? Since 2005, we have supported many important humanitarian causes to assist those that have been impacted and devastated by the fight against Ebola. We have provided relief for disasters such as the Haiti earthquake, Hurricane Katrina, the Japanese earthquake, and subsequent tsunami. Now, when I read this, I was like, oh, so this was not updated recently. This website is old. I don't know if they still hold events for charities or whatever the case may be, but this has not been updated in a long time. And I knew that based on them mentioning Ebola. Ebola is so old. I just feel like if they've done any, and Hurricane Katrina. Like, I just feel like if there was anything new or more recent, that it would be listed there at the top, and then say, like, in the past we've done X, Y, and Z. The last few years we have worked alongside charities to raise money that provides life-saving food, shelter, and medical treatment to children around the world, including those who have been affected by the conflict in Syria. None of this would be possible without our fantastic charity partners, our amazing team, and most importantly, to all of our supporters who have donated so generously to support our causes. Thank you for your continued support. Love and light, Naomi Campbell. And so that was just her little welcome to my website spiel. Okay, but their actual mission statement is Fashion for Relief is dedicated to improving the lives of those living in adversity by uniting the fashion industry as a force for good. So my question is then, what the hell happened? This part of the website goes on to say, since its inception, Fashion for Relief has presented fashion initiatives in projects in New York, London, Cannes, Moscow, Mumbai, and Dar es Salaam, raising over 15 million for good causes around the world. There's even a button that you can press to support the cause on the website, obviously, right? A few years ago, some complaints came in from two separate charities, and those were the Mayor's Fund for London, I believe it's called, as well as the Save the Children Fund. So I guess, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that some events were held for both of those organizations and money was raised. However, they had not received the payouts, and so they put in complaints to the charity board or the charity commission, and that's when they started looking into the organization, Naomi Campbell's Fashion for Relief charity. The good thing about this situation, well, for Naomi at least, this is not a situation where she's going to end up going to jail. It's not that kind of fraud per se, but she has been banned for the next 5 years from starting a charity, organizing a charity, or participating in any kind of chair for any charity. She is not allowed to do that in the UK and in Wales. The reason for that is because Miss Naomi failed to mention that the relief was for herself. She said, relief of these bills, to hell with y'all, okay? Miss Naomi took the money, girl, and she spent it on luxurious hotels and spas and her security guard and other miscellaneous things that the money from the charity had no business being a part of. Now, I've always looked at Miss Naomi as booked and busy, so I was not quite sure why she would ever even have to resort to using charity funds to live her lifestyle. Now, granted, if you have been living your life the same way for a long time and you have upkeep to do, well, this may be tempting because the charity started in 2005, but it wasn't until 11 years later, 2016, that the funds started getting a little shifty. The money was also spent on cigarettes. I mean, how much money did she spend on cigarettes for them to even mention it in this article? Because that is a whole lot of money on cigarettes if they are mentioning that she used it to buy cigarettes. There was, of course, also unauthorized payments to other trustees involved. The two trustees, which we'll get into a second, their names were Bianca Helmick, Veronica Chu. One of them was banned for the next 9 years, so obviously she got the most money. And then the other was banned for the next 4 years. So the article that I read had stated that from April 2016 to July of 2022, only 8.5% of the money raised were actually spent on grants to charities, which makes no sense because if you've raised money for Save the Children and the Mayor's Fund for London, why on earth is only 8.5% of that money being allocated to the cause? It should be, baby, at least 50% if you're going, like, it should, first of all, it should be 100%. But I'm just saying, like, 8% is so low. That's not even a fraction. Like, not even 10% of the money, and it's a non-profit, because there are some charities that are not fully 100% all the profits. There's some charities that don't have volunteers per se, and that they do pay their employees. I actually used to work for World Vision. A mess, girl. I'll probably tell that story time one day. A freaking mess. Yes, I used to work for World Vision against my will. And they're definitely, it's a weird company to work for. I'll just say that, okay? I'll just say that. In this case, 8.5% is simply unacceptable. Cue the lemon grab. Unacceptable! 8.5% is an insult. You can't be having all these rich people come out, giving them money, and then you're taking that money and paying for your hotel stay in Canes. Because where was your money? Why? Like, I know the pandemic hit and it affected everybody, and there's some people that you would never think that the pandemic affected, and I'm feeling like this is one of them. Now, there's certain people you think will never be broke, but if you remember during the pandemic, there was a lot of people joining OnlyFans, mainly reality stars, but that's neither here nor there. People were joining OnlyFans, the influencers were joining OnlyFans, but actors, especially during like the writer's strike and stuff, were saying that they had to sell their houses, they're not making money, yada, yada, yada. So we can't look at celebrities and think that they got it all together, because their bills are much higher than ours, which means that the upkeep is much higher than ours, okay? So it's understandable that she may appear richer than she actually is because she's the Naomi Campbell. Yes, she's an icon, but there's a lot of icons that ain't got a pot to piss in. You know what I mean? And so obviously I'm not saying that that's Naomi's situation, but it is very odd that she would be using the charity funds to live a certain lifestyle. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Especially because in the investigation, they tried to claim there were funds allocated for these hotel stays, but in the investigation, they found that that was not the case, and there was no record of that. So it was a lie. Or a scheme set up by Todd, one or the other. Either way, it wasn't true. So Tim Hopkins, who was a part of the investigation team, had stated, trustees are legally required to make decisions that are in their charity's best interest and to comply with their legal duties and responsibilities. Our inquiry has found that the trustees of this charity failed to do so, which has resulted in our action to disqualify them. What's interesting about this situation to me is Naomi spent the least amount of money, allegedly. She spent the money however she spent it, but the person that ended up with the most amount of money was Bianca Helmick. There was over £290,000 paid out to her for consultancy services. I don't even know what that means. I have no idea what that means. But as a trustee, I'm not quite sure why she needs to be paid out of money that's supposed to go to save the children. I'm confused. Like, what is consultancy services? What is that? And why does she need that much damn money for consulting somebody about something? I'm very confused. Anyway, so Miss Helmick, right, she proposed repaying the funds. For the meantime, the commission appointed interim managers to secure repayments to the charities. Now, £345,000 was recovered. Protection for a further £98,000 of the charity money had also been established to make payments to Save the Children Fund and the Mayor's Fund for London, and also to cover the liability costs of Fashion for Relief. So of course, people had approached Naomi about the investigation, and she had this to say.
I just found out today about the findings, and I'm extremely concerned, and we are investigating on our side. As I was not in control of my charity, I put the control in the hands of a legal lawyer, and so we are investigating to find out what and how, as everything I do and every penny I ever raise goes towards charities.
When she said this, I said, girl, what is a legal lawyer? Now, we would have believed you, ma'am, but you said a legal lawyer. There are no such thing as illegal lawyers, unless it's like the doctor boy that is not a doctor and keeps getting arrested. She said that she was not in charge of her charity, which makes absolutely no sense. However, because she's not the person that received the most amount of payout, I think that there is some validity to what she might be saying, but it's still very hard to believe. She can't just pass the buck, because at the end of the day, it's your name, it's your face, it's your charity. So you can't just say you put your charity in the hands of somebody else. Well, if that was the case, then you wouldn't have got any money for any hotel stays and cigarettes and whatever else you spent the money on. So like, something's not adding up, Miss Campbell. Something's not adding up. What she's saying in this small clip is that she's just finding out about the investigations, and she's saying she's investigating it from her end as well. But girl, did you spend the money on the security guard and the hotel stay or not? And did you think that it was okay to do that? And if you did, why, if you are running a nonprofit organization? It's like, there's just some questions that need answers for this situation to make sense. What Naomi's saying in the video does not necessarily make any sense. Now, what sucks about it is that, like I said, she's not the person that took the most amount of money. Miss Bianca Helmick is the one that got a large sum. And obviously I don't know what Bianca Helmick looks like. I never Googled her, but she is not the face of Fashion for Relief. And so the hammer's not going to come down on her. It's coming down on Naomi. To me, since Naomi was running the charity from 2005 up until 2016, that's 11 years in the game. She obviously was following the rules for that time, and I don't know if she fell on hard times in 2016. I don't know what was going on with her and onward, why they thought that they could run this scam, but they got caught. Now, it doesn't look like anybody's going to prison or jail for it, so that's good. If you are going to run a nonprofit organization, you have to follow the rules because they will come for you. You can't be holding events and then not paying the people, or only paying the people 8.5% and think they're just going to be quiet. The people want their funds, and it's public information how much money was donated to these charities, and then the charity only gets a fraction of it. They're going to say something. I'm not sure why it derailed the way it did, but at this point, Naomi's brand is tarnished, right? She looks like a thief. People are not going to trust her. And she looks like a scammer. And so again, we don't really know who the hell Bianca Helmick is, and nor Veronica Chu. So it's not to say that people are not going to work with them again, but they are now all looked at as fraudsters. And Naomi especially, it's just not a good look for her. Now, people are giggling about this because very recently at the Aliyah fashion show, Rihanna came in her custom drip. Okay, Naomi and Rihanna have not spoken in years. The one exec stood up to greet Rihanna, okay, and then Rihanna went about her business. She didn't need to really greet Naomi nor La Roche, but La Roche and Naomi made this TikTok, and the TikTok kind of went viral, and people were calling them mean girls because they were talking about very mindful and very demure, but it was shady to the point where La Roche had to, I think the next day or a couple days later, post something saying that people make something out of nothing and they were just doing the trend. But that was not the case, because he had mentioned, we don't come to the show like the other girls, we don't have to have our chi-chis out and yada yada yada. Sir, you ain't got a chi, you don't got a chi nor a cha nor a chu to be put on display. You don't. So what are we talking about? Of course you don't have to come to the show with your chi-chi out. You ain't got a chi-chi. Okay, like, what's going on? Stay out of women's business, sir. Like, what's happening? They made this messy video, and then they looked crazy, and then they backtracked and tried to renege. And then Naomi just today posted another thing about how her and Rihanna don't have any issue, and they're just two mothers with two children each. I didn't even realize Naomi had a second child, baby. I knew about the first one. I didn't know about the second one now. Anyway, two children each, and we're not going to pit black women against each other. I think that this is a cop-out because y'all were being messy in that video, and that's just what it is. Maybe it was La Roche's idea and Naomi went along with it, but Naomi and Rihanna's beef started around the time with the Saudi billionaire, because Naomi was dating him first, and then them mash up, and he and Rihanna started dating, and neither one of them are with the Saudi billionaire. So at the end of the day, we don't know what happened with Naomi and Rihanna, but they were close at one point. They were. Naomi has a lot more fallouts, I would say, than Ree, but it's the industry. Ain't no friends in the industry. This is sorrow, by the way. There's no rum in it or anything. It's just virgin sorrow. My mom brought me the glass this morning, and it's so good. She made it last night. Ooh, girl, so good. Anyway, this is how I stay healthy. This is how I keep the germs away. I don't get sick when I have sorrow. And if you don't drink sorrow throughout the whole entire year, I can't trust you. I can't trust you. You must drink your sorrow all throughout the year. Not just around Christmas time. All throughout the year, baby. Sorrow on deck, okay? Every day I drink sorrow. My mom makes big batches of sorrow. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is that she and La Roche were being messy, and this may just be her karma, because leave people alone, okay? That's just it. Leave people alone. I wouldn't have worn what Rihanna had wore to the Aliyah show, but baby, I can't even get into an Aliyah show. So what do I look like? What do I look like saying what I would wear? I can't get no custom drip. I can't get no custom drip from Aliyah. Okay? I can't. If they message me and say, we got a custom for you, come get fitted. We're gonna give you a bejeweled panty and a bejeweled robe, and you're gonna come in and sit front row, well, that's what I'm going to wear. Period. And if you don't like that my chichi is out, that's between you and whoever. Neither here nor there. Very unfortunate for Miss Naomi that her name and brand is further tarnished in this way, because you know people still give Naomi a blight because she's Naomi. If she want to be a diva, she could be a diva, okay? But you don't be a diva and a fraudster. You don't steal from the charities, girl. It's just certain things you don't do. I don't necessarily think that there's anything for them to look through or look into, because the investigation was done already. It's just like Meek Mill saying he got 100K for somebody to come and look into how his name is attached to the Diddy situation. Sir, just wait on the facts. You know what I mean? Ain't no more investigations needs to be had. They gonna do it for you. They completed their investigation, and that's just what it is. The next thing that you guys brought to the docket and were asking me about was Cardi B and Offset. And my oh my. Now y'all know we knew Offset was a dog. We already knew that. We liked them together, but we knew he was a cheating monster. Like, they called him Off to Cheat instead of Offset. Like, he's known for that. While she pregnant, he cheating. While she not pregnant, he cheating. She at home breastfeeding the baby, he cheating. But let me tell you, it's something about that third baby make you get gone now. It's something about that third baby make you get gone. You can't take it anywhere. Once you hit the third baby, you're like, I ain't sticking around for this. This is crazy. I know who I am. I know who I bees, okay? So why would I stay? Cardi finally got her lick back, and Offset and Cardi have been kind of feuding online because she was on live and he was disrupting the live, and he's texting her, asking some crazy things now, asking if he can beat his meat while they on the FaceTime or some foolishness like that. Like, sir, please go. Please exit stage left. Like, honestly, this is actually my right, but exit stage left. Offset is out of control. These men will dog you out, okay? They will act like you are expendable, and then when you finally act like you are expendable, get the hell gone. They want to act like lose their everlasting mind. Mr. Offset, what are you doing? And then he's trying to make it seem like she is like some whore or whatever. No, she was down. She ain't cheat on this man, do nothing, none of that stuff, until it was time for her to decide she's not going back into the relationship. So if she wants to, you know, sleep with somebody else, she can. That's just what it is. Like, if she knew she was not going back, she's gonna sleep with somebody else. That's how she moves, right? A lot of people are like that. They say the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. I disagree with it, but you know, people need to do the healing. Okay, they need to maybe therapy, like something, okay? But don't be getting under somebody to get over somebody else. That's not how you do it. Cardi decided she was finally gonna move on, and so she did, and Offset got upset. People that are narcissistic in nature will behave like you destroyed their world after they have constantly, persistently destroyed yours. And that's what we're seeing with Cardi and Offset, because Cardi was good to him as far as the eye can see. Anytime he cheated, she stayed. Even if it got exposed, she stayed. She was embarrassed, she stayed. She had another baby. You know, it happens. It happens, okay? Happens to the best of us. Once you're done, okay? That's it, and ain't no going back after that. And so Offset's over here throwing a temper tantrum online and acting all whatever, and people are chiming in. And what I thought was absolutely despicable was when he tried to say Take and the bros told him not to mess with her. Takeoff is rolling in his grave, sir. Leave him out of your shenanigans. Like, why are you pulling the dead into your mess? What did Takeoff never told you that? He never told you that. Like, he never said that. Like, were you trying to gain sympathy? It's just tacky. It's just like, even if Takeoff did tell him that, it was tacky. He's dead and can't say yay nor nay, so we don't need to bring him into the melee, because he ain't got nothing to do with anything. You are a known cheater, and now it's coming that you're an abuser. And so Cardi was saying how he'd be threatening to take her stuff because she went and smashed somebody else. That's crazy, but that's how men are. They threaten you. Narcissistic men, not men. Sorry, not the good men, not the nice men. The narcissistic men, the abusive men, they will threaten to come for you in any and every way if you set a boundary that they cannot cross. And Cardi has done that, and so shout out to her. We're loving this for Cardi. We're loving that she's finally out of the MK Ultra and that she's getting her mind back, and she's not gonna go back with Offset. It's sad and unfortunate because we don't like to see homes get broken apart, but at the same time, if the man is a dirty dog, you gonna catch fleas. And who has time for that? You know, hopefully offline they can, you know, manage, deal, cope, do whatever they need to do. She's made it very clear that her children love Offset and that there's certain lines she's not going to cross where he's concerned. But I feel like if it gets to a point where Offset is doing too much, she may have to set up a different boundary where that is. And, you know, that's between them and their home, however they want to run it. I don't think when these men are trying to hurt the mother, they don't calculate or factor in how they are also going to be hurting their child or children. Like, they don't. And so him going online and saying terrible things about her is wild and crazy, because eventually Culture and everybody else that she has burnt, Culture, Wave, and the new baby, one day they're gonna be able to go online and see how their dad was treating their mom. And once you put it online, it can't be erased. So they're gonna form their own opinions about him. But what can you do? Some people don't care about stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully their divorce doesn't get too messy. Hopefully. That's all I can say, because when you're dealing with certain kind of people, things get messy. If you are a terrible partner and you're with somebody that's constantly forgiving you, giving you chances, yada yada yada, what I've learned, especially in my own personal experience, is the more that you forgive somebody that's like that, the worse their behavior becomes, because they think in their mind they have not done anything terrible to you. Because you're so damn forgiving. They're like, she forgave me for that, well, let me just see what else I can get away with. That's the mindset. And it is what it is. I think it was a matter of time. There's only so much disrespect a woman can take. And the thing is, you're going to put up with a lot of stuff prior to having kids. First of all, it's not even that. Cardi is a money-making machine. She has a lot of wins under her belt. She is the prize in the relationship. Offset is not the prize. She's the prize in the relationship. And so when she became a mother and she was still having to deal with the disrespect, because sometimes you see these little glimmers and you think, oh, he's changing, she's changing, whatever. And so you continue the relationship, but then it gets to the point where you're like, this nigga ain't changed a damn nothing, okay? He's the same as he was. In fact, he's worse. If I don't leave, then I am going to lose my mind. And that's probably where Cardi was when she decided, despite the fact that she was pregnant. I tell you right now, Cardi was already done when she found out she was pregnant. I can guarantee you that. And she was like probably trying to figure out, you know, what her moves were gonna be. A woman checks out mentally and is making her exit strategy in a relationship or to get out of a relationship long before she actually makes the move to go. And because she's the prize, why would she continue to take the disrespect? She doesn't need him financially. That's for sure. When you are self-made or when you are successful as a woman, you are always kind of in this position where you don't need your partner, but you want your partner. And it could be that you have a family, right? And so you don't want to dissolve that. But there comes a point, if there is an abusive situation going on, whether financially or physically or psychologically or lots of cheating, whatever the case is, there becomes this scale, we'll say, of good and bad. And if the bad is outweighing the good, then obviously you're going to be like, okay, well, I don't need you, I want you, but you aren't doing anything to even make me want you at this point. So what is it to cut you off? And so that's where Cardi went. And it's Cardi B. It's going to be a situation where it's going to be hard for her to find somebody that is genuine. But who's to say she even wants that? After dealing with Offset for so long, she might just want to be single and mingling and doing what she want to do without any ties to anybody. And that's her business. And so there's people that exit toxic relationships and right away find somebody that's wonderful. There's people that exit toxic relationships and then find somebody that's 10 times worse, but just had on a way better mask and doesn't drop their mask until, you know, way late. And then there's people that leave toxic relationships and right away say, I ain't dating nan nigga ever again. Okay? I'm good. Okay? There's those people. So there's 3 different kinds of people, in my opinion, that leave toxic relationships. And so we don't know what lane Cardi's in, but obviously she's already sleeping with people. Admittedly so, she said and did, and I cackled, okay, because he's like telling her she slept with somebody while she was pregnant with his baby. Didn't you? Didn't you also? Weren't you? You were sleeping with people when she was pregnant. You were sleeping with people when she wasn't pregnant. You were sleeping with people when she was a mama. You were sleeping with people before she was a mama. You would do. She just pulled you on you. Are you mad? Oh no, sir. Get it together. Obviously, I'm Team Cardi. Very biased. Very biased. Very much Team Cardi. Very happy for her that she's getting her groove back, whichever way that she so chooses. I really do love that for her. I must say, Cardi may have thought she was the exception because Offset married her, but in true narcissist fashion, she is the best that Offset will ever get. Offset will never get another girl like Cardi, ever. He's never gonna top Cardi. That was grade A supply, baby. And there is no coming back from that. No other girl that comes after Cardi is going to be able to bring to the table what Cardi brought to the table, period. In status, in finances, you know, the thing that Cardi did though was she became one of many baby mamas, because Offset has a bag of kids and a bag of baby mamas. He has multiple baby mothers before he got with Cardi, and so she may have thought she was the exception for a while because he decided he was going to marry her. He didn't marry any of the other ones as far as I know, but of course he's going to marry her because she got a big bag and she is grade A supply. She brings something. She's already celebrity. She don't need anything from him, so of course he's going to attach himself to her in that way, then make her have kids and make her think that she's not going nowhere despite the fact that he's abusive or cheating. Okay, that is the big picture, and so he's never gonna be able to replace her. She can get a better man, period. It's just like Sierra and Future. Look at Sierra's life. We love that for Sierra. I would like to see who dates Offset next, because all that's gonna happen is probably that they're just gonna become the next baby mama, and that's gonna be their goal. Whereas Cardi, she can go and date some NBA player now, whoever. I'm sure her DMs are flooded. Offset will downgrade, Cardi will upgrade, and that is my prediction for that relationship. Now, in other news, there is a viral TikTok of a girl that had a wedding and booked this MUA, and the MUA canceled on her to go and do JT's makeup. Now, JT ain't got nothing to do with anything. I'm sure the girl did not tell her the truth, and JT was like, well, I need you. Like, hopefully that's not the case, because girl, if that were to come out, that's just a mess. I'm gonna give y'all the quick rundown. Some people are terrible. That's just what it is. Some people are just terrible human beings, and this girl might be one of them. Pretty much what happened was the girl booked the MUA, and the MUA canceled on her the day before the wedding. Where is she supposed to get another makeup artist? Like, it's so tacky, tasteless, terrible. And I understand she didn't want to miss her opportunity with JT. Her situation is going to go one of two ways, since the situation has gone viral on TikTok. The first way is, ain't nobody booking with this girl, because people are coming out of the woodworks now saying the same thing happened to them with the same MUA. So she's just unreliable, period, and she is actually being looked at as a thief. The other way it would go is people really like her work that she did on JT, and other celebrities or whatever want to book her, and maybe she wants to be a celebrity makeup artist. However, she done brought the good Lord above into her mess. And so the problem with the little shenanigan that the girl pulled was that she booked the girl's wedding and then tried to get out of it by, one, gaslighting the lady into thinking that the weather was going to be so bad that her wedding plans were going to change or whatever. So already she was being sketchy, messaging the girl. So the makeup artist is messaging the bride and saying, let me know if anything changes. She's banking on the fact that the weather is bad. The bride assures her it's fine. The wedding is still on. See you tomorrow. See ya at the wedding, girl. So then morning passes and night falls, and it's 9 o'clock at night, and the girl tells her, hey, JT just booked me for New York tomorrow, so I'm not gonna make it to your wedding. I'm looking for another makeup artist for you right now. I'm on the phone with JT, so I have to go, blah, 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 blah. Well, that was a lie from the pit of hell. And she was already with JT, because when the bride went to the Instagram, she saw that she was already with her. So what it looks like happened was she got an opportunity, despite the fact that she knew she had the wedding, and decided she wasn't gonna leave the JT opportunity, which I can understand, but morals, you know, if you already have, it's a wedding. You cannot ruin somebody's wedding day and think that nothing is gonna go wrong. She lies and acts like she's going to New York the next day, but she was already with JT. So the girl went on her Instagram and saw that she was already with JT, and so she's realizing this girl's scamming me or lying to me, whatever. Then the makeup artist posts a reply about going viral, but she starts calling on the Lord God Almighty, okay? Now, these types of Christians are scary to me, because you lied and deceived the woman, potentially ruined her wedding day, and then she calls you out for it. And you sit online and talk about God, this and that and the third, and you're hoping that the girl forgives you and that you don't have any ill in your heart towards her because X, Y, and Z. Ma'am, you played her. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You can't lie and deceive somebody and then turn around and say that you're a child of God. A child of God would not lie and deceive to get one over on somebody. A child of God would not lie and deceive somebody on their wedding day to go and do JT's makeup. That's crazy. And then also further deceive by trying to convince the lady that the weather is going to be bad and that her wedding is going to get moved around because you're looking for a way out of it, but you decided, you dug yourself into a hole because you knew you shouldn't have double booked. You can't do that. You can't make this up. And then have the nerve to say that she is pulling you down and trying to destroy you. No, ma'am. You destroyed yourself when you decided you were going to be dishonest, and this is why you don't lie. Like, literally. Because when you tell one lie, what happened? You got to tell multiple lies to get you out of the first lie that you didn't told. Your story keeps switching. But it's like, just apologize. If you took money, send the money back. At that point, it would be too late, because one thing about it, it's somebody's wedding you played with. It's not like it was like a baby shower or like prom. A wedding? You skipped town on a girl wedding? I would have to bring her to court. Because what? And then have the nerve to say that the girl needs to enjoy her marriage and she's inviting dark energy at a sensitive time. And she quoting scripture and doing these types of people are scary. Okay, very scary people, because what are you talking about? It would be one thing if the bride had told her the weather is kind of iffy, I'm not sure if I'm still gonna go with you, and she decided, okay, well, I don't have time for iffy, I got guaranteed money over here with JT and I'm gonna go over here. Baby, I would be on this lady's side, the makeup artist side. But that's not what happened. She's just a liar to her damn core. You know I don't like liars now. Out of order. And then somebody came forward and said, baby, she did the same thing to me. I was hosting Invest Fest. She was supposed to come for 2:30. She didn't arrive till 4:30. I was due on set at 5. Very unprofessional. Like, very unprofessional. I was an hour late. She told me she would refund me my money, never sent me $1. Didn't send me anything. I had no one to do my makeup last minute for my big gig. Still let her do it 2 hours late because I was devastated. Still no refund. Barely sorry. My family and friends said, Jasmine, just send her love and grace. And that's what I did. I told her it would be nice to receive something, even a new experience free of charge next time. I'm in Atlanta. But again, I left it to God. She does amazing makeup, but very, very unprofessional. She even admitted it. God bless her. Pray she's realizing she's playing with people's lives and time. F the money. You made me look unprofessional because you were unprofessional. Sad truth. And that's the thing. You can't be playing with people like that. Like, you're booking decent things. It doesn't matter if JT was going to pay her more. You are a business and you're offering a service. She's not giving a good amount of time for cancellation. She's bailing on people last minute or showing up late, and it's just unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable! You can't do that as a professional in any field. Like, if you say it starts at freaking 5, it starts at 5. Somebody says, I need you to do my makeup on my wedding. You don't double book. Like, there's certain things that you just don't do, and this is definitely one of them. Just like Miss Naomi Campbell, certain things you don't do, and this is one of them. Very unprofessional, and karma is real. So, she, like I said, is either gonna go one of two ways for her. Despite the fact that her makeup is really good, people are gonna be like looking at her sideways now since it's gone viral and be like, not booking with her because her rep is bad. Or two, she's going to advance into being celebrity makeup artist, or JT is gonna hire her full time and have her go wherever JT goes. Maybe that was her blessing for this, but who knows what's gonna happen. I think that her attitude is piss poor in the situation, and she needs to not be quoting scripture when she started off as a deceiver. The devil knows scripture too now. The devil can quote scripture too now. Okay? That's how Adam and Eve got hemmed up. Clock the T. And so, as the Diddy saga continues, there is another woman. Now it is a Jane Doe. And she is alleging that she was drugged repeatedly and impregnated by him, but she later had a miscarriage. This woman is being represented in court by Joseph L. I'm gonna say Ciascio, and says that she met Diddy back in 2020. Okay, a leopard don't change its spots and a tiger don't change its stripes, and so that is kind of what we're seeing with Diddy. Now, I am under the belief that if you are going to pursue Diddy in this way in court, you would have to have facts and evidence to back your claims, because it doesn't make sense that a lawyer would be like, yes, I'll take your case, if you don't have some hardcore facts, because a lawyer is not trying to look stupid, number one, unless you're Diddy's lawyer, okay? Unless you're Diddy's lawyer. But the lawyer is not trying to look stupid, but also if they think that this is going to be a big case for them, of course they're going to take it, but you would have to be like, I got this, this, and this, and this. A lawyer can only use hardcore proof, right? Not hearsay, not this or that, what this person said. You obviously could not be making up something like this and bring it to a legal office unless you're psycho bananas and say, this happened to me. I ain't got no proof or evidence to back my claims, but let's go forward with this lawsuit anyway and see if we can get us a bag. According to TMZ, Miss Jane Doe said she was invited on an all expenses paid trip during their initial meeting. She continued to see Diddy regularly between 2021 and 2022. She was at his home in New York, Los Angeles, and Miami, and other locations. Eventually, she stopped traveling on her own will and started traveling based on him demanding she come. She claims that Diddy's staff would use coercive and harassing language to get her to comply to meet up with Diddy or come to wherever he was at. This is why I said the staff definitely needs to be under the jail as well. Other people need to be getting indicted with Diddy, not just Diddy, because why are the staff or the security guards or whoever sending for these young girls to be beat on or to be put in freak offs or whatever the case is? Like, this is crazy, and this is why he not getting bail, and this is why they're gonna throw him under the jail, because the evidence that they have gathered against him is just through the roof, honestly. The Jane Doe is also alleging that Diddy would use spiked alcoholic drinks to get her to do stuff, to force her into things, is how she put it. In April 2022, she's alleging that at his LA home, he forced her to have intercourse. She said she sustained purple bruises and a bite mark on her feet during the visit that same year, but doesn't recall how those injuries were sustained. She's also claiming that she was forced to take ketamine and other drugs in July of 2022. What I'm not understanding about this whole Diddy situation is why everybody has to be forced to doing stuff that they don't want to do. And so that brings me to Russell Brand. This interview of his from Get Him to the Greek resurfaced, and he was alleging the same, that Diddy, he wants to be Diddy's friend, but Diddy is very persuasive and very, like, you're kind of intimidated by him because you end up on a holiday that you didn't necessarily plan to be on, and you know, he's very like, you have to do what he's saying. And this is a man that is Russell Brand at the time. Well, Russell Brand is still relevant, right? But like at the time, you wouldn't think that this Caucasian man would be being forced to do stuff or go on a holiday against his will with Diddy. Like, it just doesn't even sound right. And so he was saying in that interview, like, he likes Diddy, but Diddy's very intense is the word that he used. And that is everybody's claim, that Diddy is intense. But when you watch Making the Band and you watch P20 TV, I ended up on Diddy's YouTube. I don't know how they haven't taken it down yet. And there's like videos going back 15 plus years of short video clips of like behind the scenes stuff. And so you kind of get to see Diddy's at home life. You see the twins when they're itty bitty, 2 and 3 years old. And you know, there's some videos I was just like, interesting. Everybody can't be lying, you know. The woman is claiming that she blacked out when she was forced to take those drugs in July of 2022. She's claiming that it was after that incident that she wound up pregnant. She claims that she was harassed about getting an abortion, which she initially said she was not going to, but then she had a miscarriage. The gag is, her claims is that July 2024, baby death was at 2 months ago, Diddy was still trying to contact her. And so this lady is alleging that she has suffered trauma, financial injury, and physical injury, and is seeking unspecified damages. There is cases upon cases upon cases. I don't know which direction the situation is going to go in. It can't go anywhere but to hell, girl. It's going down. There's another law firm that has over 50 people making their claims. I guess class action lawsuit against Diddy, which is insane. Then there was a lawyer that also has I believe she has a Jane Doe as her client. She was stating somebody more high profile than Diddy has been caught on tape and doesn't seem to realize that they were even being recorded, because they're not like looking in the camera or anything like that. So like in the hidden camera. And this footage has been shopped around, and she was contacted to ask that person, so the person in the tape, if they want to purchase it, as to, you know, kill it, right? Get rid of it. But it doesn't make any sense. When she said that the person is more high profile than Diddy, my mind only went to a few places. Because if they're in the hip hop industry, well, eyes are gonna point to a certain direction. And if they're in maybe the acting industry, then it could be a lot of different people. You know, there's a lot of people that are higher profile than Diddy. But if it is a hip hop person in the tapes, ciao. The lawyer had stated that she refused. She said, no, I'm not going to contact that person and ask them if they want to purchase it. She don't want no involvement. But she also told them, she said she's seen the stills of the video and it's clear, so I'm assuming if it's not in 4K, it's at least in 1080p to where you can see who it is in a compromising sexual position with Diddy. So Diddy is identified in it, and then another person. And so this is a lawyer on a news interview making these claims and saying this, and saying she was asked about it and asked to contact that person, and she refused. She said no. And so that video is being shopped around. But like I said in the other video, nobody's touching that with a 10-foot pole, because you cannot distribute somebody else's pornographic content. You can't do that. Nobody's making money off of the tapes without it getting leaked first. So I am actually going to predict that something is going to leak. Somebody's tape somewhere, and we're going to get gagged real soon. But I don't know. I don't know if we're necessarily ready. I don't know if we're necessarily ready for what is going to happen next in terms of this Diddy situation. But it's clearly not one that's going away anytime soon. We're going to hear about Diddy every day until trial or something crazier happens. Oh, Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna with Tiger Boom Boom. Blac Chyna was dating a man named Hector, okay? And so Hector and Blac Chyna dated back like during pandemic days. Recently, Hector decided that he is going to sue Blac Chyna for 10 million smackaroos, okay? $10 million. And the reason that he's doing this is because he was attacked in his sleep while he was asleep at, I think, her house. But as we know, Miss Blac Chyna, aka, well, better known now as Angela White, has transformed her life. She is sober, you know, she's given her life to Christ. She's doing a lot of things on the chill scale these days and enjoying being a mother, and, you know, she's gotten her life together. And so Hector is claiming that in September of 2001, Blac Chyna beat him severely. And so his pictures actually reminded me of Rihanna's pictures. And he was really busted up and swollen in the photo. His eye was like Rocky Balboa's girl. It was terrible, okay? He's claiming that Angela punched him in the face with closed fists, elbows, and knees. He says she pinned his arms down and he was unable to defend himself. This sounds a little strange because she's a woman and he's a man, and it's not like he's some toothpick. Like, it doesn't sound like one person could have. He looks like he got jumped. First of all, he don't look like one person beat him, but that's neither here nor there. In addition to this, he claims that the abuse occurred when she was drinking or using drugs. The man claims that she would often try to strangle him and use household objects as weapons, which included wires, furniture, cell phone, and kitchen utensils to attack him. He's suing for more than $10 million in damages. Now, I don't want to minimize him or his claims, but I want to talk about why this is sort of different than somebody pursuing somebody like Diddy. We don't see any changes in Diddy. Diddy has been pretty consistently terrible, right? And clearly, because of all the claims against him, we see that that is just who he is. No changing. Angela, however, she has evolved. She has realized she was not living right, and she has turned her life around. And so it's not necessarily that she doesn't need to maybe pay for her mistakes, but I just find it a little odd that he is suing her instead of seeking true justice. Because if he wants justice for this abuse that he's alleging, then would this not be a criminal situation? Because as far as I know, in a domestic violence setting, there is no statute of limitations. It's not like sexual assault or anything of that nature. When it comes to domestic violence, there's typically not a statute of limitations that you can report it, depending. I wonder if there's police reports from this time, and if there are, then okay, fine. But we never saw Angela get arrested in those times for domestic disputes, or did we? Like, can you guys remind me? I want to know why he's waited till now to do this, and is it because he sees that she's, you know, sober and wants to destroy her? Because all it takes is like one trigger, you know, for somebody that's on a sobriety journey to derail. And this may push her over the edge. Not to say that he needs to be weary of that. That's none of his business. You know, he's not the person that got her hooked to drugs or whatever it is. To me, if he sees that she has changed and she's not, you know, continuing these terrible patterns, why pursue her in this way? Especially for 10 million, like maybe 1 million, 2 million, but it's like, sir, what's the real issue here? Do you just need some money, or what's going on? But I say all that to say, I don't think he's getting $1. And the reason why he's not getting $1 is because, as we all know, Blac Chyna is not just Blac Chyna. Blac Chyna is a package deal with her crazy mama, Toni. And so once Hector dropped this lawsuit, or filed this lawsuit, Toni came swinging out the woodworks. And she said, not my baby, okay? And so there's sometimes we're like, yes, Tokyo. And there's other times where we're like, Tokyo, please. And this is definitely a time where I'm like, yes, Tokyo. Because if it were my child, and my child wasn't living right, and then my child decided she was going to live right, I'm taking the charge too. I'm taking the charge for my baby. Because Tokyo posted a video and said she attacked him.
Let me break something down to you, Hector. Don't tell no motherfucking lies, bitch. I beat your motherfucking ass like a I said I was. I said I was coming to LA and whoop your motherfucking ass playing games with me and my motherfucking daughter. So now you want to play games and say, she did that to you? This short, this little, did that to you? No, I came there and I beat your motherfucking ass. Go tell him that. Go tell him that. Talk about some you was motherfucking sleep. You know, you went to motherfucking sleep after I finished your motherfucking ass like that. Now try it again, and I'll do your motherfucking.
And if this goes to trial, all they got to do is prove reasonable doubt. And so Tokyo is online now claiming it was not Blac Chyna that attacked you. I attacked you. And I told you I was going to do it, and I did it. And you were not sleeping. You went to sleep, is what she said in the video. And she kind of gagged me a bit. But I think she's coming from a mama bear stance, and she wants Blac Chyna to stay on the path that she's on, despite the fact that Tokyo just is crazy. Now, Tokyo could be telling the truth, because we know that she's a nut, and we know that she is a fighter. But whether she's telling the truth or not is irrelevant, because if they were to play that video in court, I don't see how they could still make Blac Chyna pay unless there's other evidence against Chyna, like maybe text messages or something between her and Hector that state, you know, maybe she's apologetic about what happened or something that incriminates Chyna in that way. But because we see Chyna on this, you know, healing path and healing journey, it kind of sucks that this has happened. But this also kind of makes me, you know, believe that she really has given her life to Christ, because he will fight these battles for you now, okay? Not like the girl that I talked about earlier in the video who deceived and lied to get what she wanted and then tried to quote Bible scriptures. We're talking about somebody like Blac Chyna or Angela White, who's been minding her business and just, you know, turning her life around publicly and giving God the glory in that. And now somebody tried to sue her for $10 million when she's turned her life around, and out of nowhere her mom comes to debunk his claims and says she's the one that attacked him. So it's like, ain't no 10 million for you, sir, because if I was on that jury, I would have to just take Tony's word, because why would you say that you did something like that if you didn't, and potentially you could go to jail for it? She's pretty much saying, I ain't got $1, so try to sue me if you want to, but it was me that attacked you. And then the other thing is, he was sleeping when he was attacked. So how do you really know who hit you? Especially if Blac Chyna wasn't the only person in the house. But can he prove that, right? If you watch the movie Law Abiding Citizen, then you would know the quote is not about what you know, it's what you can prove in court. And so that is why this situation is interesting. Now, because it is a domestic violence situation, like I said, we still want to acknowledge the fact that if Chyna did attack him, she's dead wrong. Nobody should put their hands on anybody, and that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it, right? You shouldn't attack people, but if she was on drugs at the time and alcohol infused and all these things, then, you know, that was who she was, and sometimes your past comes back to haunt you. But I don't know that it's actually gonna go anywhere, because is he filing this out of spite, especially because it's 3 years later? You know, it's not like he filed it a year after they broke up or whatever. He's filing it 3 years later, 3 years after the attack. So what is the true motivation behind it? Is he just looking for a quick payday, or does he genuinely feel like this is the money that is owed to him because he suffered X, Y, and Z? I don't know this man from anywhere. I don't know what he does for a living. I don't see that he has missed out on $10 million in revenue as to why, you know, she needs to pay that much money. But I'm thinking if she is indeed guilty, some money should be paid. But 10 million is a little excessive, okay? That's just what I think. I don't think 10 million is necessary. He knows how much money she's worth, or how much she's made on OnlyFans or whatever she's done, and still making money, and he wants a piece of that pie and feels that he's deserving of it because she shouldn't have put her hands on him, and that's karma. But I think grace should be extended to her, because we see that she has changed and is celebrating her sobriety. You know, if she's apologetic towards him, I think that grace should definitely be applied, and hopefully she never does that to anybody else if she did indeed do it to him. Whether it was her or Tokyo Toni, baby, we will never know. We will never know. But Tokyo Toni is crazy, so it is believable. That being said, Tokyo Toni, like I said, she crazy. So she is over here saying free Puffy, free R. Kelly, and I'm just like, ma'am, no. Tokyo is raising the point that these people, everybody that goes to a P. Diddy party or whatever, we've all heard the rumors. So saying that the victims that are coming forward knew what time it was and knew they had no business over there. If they would have stayed their little butt home, then these things wouldn't have happened to them. I'm gonna say yes and no, because not everybody has heard the rumors. If you're not somebody that is, you know, up on game, up on pop culture, especially if you're young, the girls that he's going for, girls that were being convinced to become one of his ladies, they may not have heard what's going on over there. My mom, for instance, okay, she don't know what the hell going on unless I tell her. So she would not be of interest to him. But there's people that are older, and there's people that are younger, and there's people that are my age that had no idea about this stuff because they don't follow this stuff. So it's not a fair statement to make that you know what the hell was going on over there. Why did you go over there? People are thinking, I got invited to a party, I'm gonna go party. I had no idea I was gonna see an orgy session at 7 p.m. Like, I didn't know I didn't know this was a bathhouse, okay? I did not know this was a bathhouse. I thought that it was a party with drinks. I didn't know that they were putting pills in the liquor. Like, see, for me, that stuff was new to me. I didn't realize that they were giving out spiked drinks. I'm thinking they get you drunk, but I'm also thinking if somebody offers you a drink, you can say no. But if you went to party and you see everybody else is drinking, you're not gonna know that there's certain bottles reserved for the young girls that have drugs in them. You don't know those things. And why would you think that? Because at the end of the day, you're thinking this is a celebrity, high profile. He's not a rapist. Nobody thinks like that. You think that these are people with money and they're throwing elaborate parties, and that's because they have the money to do that. You're not thinking that they're doing it with a motive behind it to get you pilled up, drugged up, drunk, to abuse you. Why would you ever think that? Because it's not a normal way to think. It's not normal to think that I'm gonna go to a party and somebody's going to me because of whatever reason. I should be able to go to the party, get drunk, and leave on a gurney if I got that drunk, and nobody take advantage of me because I'm liquored up. That is what should be able to happen if you don't know your limits. But if you're going to be invited to a party, especially if you got invited by one of his sons, because you know people say that their kids, his kids have invited them to parties and they've either said, oh, I can't make it, or they have gone and decided they're not gonna engage. And so if you get invited by one of his sons, like, there's certain tactics that are being used that people are deciding to be obtuse about, but we don't take anything that Toni says seriously anyway. She's not a point of, you know, credible, or she's not a reference point for anything. So when it comes to this situation, her saying free Puff and free R. Kelly is crazy, because other people should be arrested with R. Kelly. The parents should be in jail too, but R. Kelly shouldn't be free. We're talking about children. We're talking about little girls and little boys. So no, not free Kells, not free Diddy, but add to the people that have been locked up, because it should not just be them under the jail. And that's, you know, something that I'm going to keep saying. Other people need to be held accountable. If his sons, if Quincy or Christian or freaking or what the other one name? What name? What name? I can't remember his name. What's his name? Christian, Quincy, Justin Combs. One of them boy there. If one of them invites me, DMs me and says, hey Bouge, I like your YouTube. Do you want to come to this party in Los Angeles? Right? Say I'm in Los Angeles. Oh my God. One of Diddy's sons is inviting me to a party, not knowing I'm allegedly being lured to the party because maybe I'm attractive. Maybe Diddy came across my YouTube video and was like, oh, I like that girl, get her over here. And they just had a job to do. Maybe they don't know that they're being invited for a purpose. Maybe they don't know that when they get there, they're going to be given a drink that has drugs in it. Because you can be going to a party and get a drink and there's no drugs in it. And at that point, you drink and you drink and you drink and you get drunk and you feel yourself getting drunker. But when there's already a drug in the liquor, you just black out and you don't know what the hell's going on. So a lot of people have the same viewpoint as Tokyo, and I just don't agree with it, because at the end of the day, if somebody invited me, if any celebrity, forget Diddy, if any celebrity invited me to a party and I'm like available to go, wouldn't I go? Unless I'm like, nah, I got Bible study tonight, girl. Thanks for inviting me, but the Lord said I need to stay home tonight, so I'm gonna stay home. Like, unless I'm that tapped in, which you know I am, girl, but unless I'm tapped in with God like that and he gives me the discernment to know it's not safe for you to go, some people are not. and they don't realize it's not just a party you're being invited to. You're being invited to your demise. Somebody is plotting something against you, right? You don't know that. So you cannot have this stance of they knew what time it was, because there are literally people that had no idea that Diddy was this crazy abuser, or that he was luring people or getting his staff to lure people. Like, these are things that were secret, right? They're only now being talked about because it was taboo before. It's industry secrets that everybody in the industry knows, but the unsuspecting girl doesn't know that. And I see Diddy tweeting that he's gonna be in Toronto handing out tickets personally. I believe it. And I go and it's a cardboard cutout. The man is a liar. Okay, he's a liar. Like, it just is what it is. He knows how to manipulate and deceive to get people to do what he wants them to do. He wanted us to come to the concert, and he knew if he said he was going to do a meet and greet, we're going to show up. There was lots of people in the alleyway waiting for Diddy, and we all see a cardboard cutout, and we're laughing like, are you kidding me? I came all this way thinking I'm going to a meet and greet to get me my tickets to the show, and it's just some promoter there. And Diddy knew what he was doing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have set the cardboard cutout. He thought it was funny. Like, that wasn't funny to us. You don't know if I have bus fare or not, sir. He could have literally just said there's gonna be somebody there handing out tickets. He never needed to say he gonna be there handing out tickets. That was crazy. That's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, people are ignorant to certain things, and certain things were industry noise, and so people in the industry may be like, I ain't going to Puff House. I know what'll be going on over there. But there's people that have no idea about it. The average girl, average boy getting invited over there has no idea that she's going to leave the party a victim. She thought she was going for drinks. She was invited by somebody else. She didn't know she was lured there. So this take is crazy, and I just don't like it. That's that on that. I'm not gonna add anything else to the topic today because I already know more is coming, more is on the way, and we're gonna find out what it is when we get there. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are thinking, feeling, and I will definitely see you in the next one.